KAB is committed to providing good affordable homes and to promoting a good life for our residents. We manage about 50,000 homes in the not-for-profit housing sector in the Greater Copenhagen area. There is widespread misunderstanding about what it means to rent an affordable home in KAB. This could be because we use a great deal of jargon when we describe what we do, a kind of housing Swahili. So let's try instead to tell a little story. Michael, Maria and their son Marcus have just moved into a good rental home in a housing estate called Solvangen. Solvangen is part of the Copenhagen Housing Association, BSK. KAB is paid to manage the properties through the rent, so we manage the waiting list Michael and Maria were on. We also collect rents and manage the letting and maintenance of the properties. But hey, what now? Maria and Michael have been invited to a general meeting for all Solvangen's residents. On the agenda there's a whole lot about budgets, accounts, estate board elections, and they also have to make decisions on whether they need new kitchens or not. Isn't it KAB that should decide what happens to Michael and Maria's home? No. This is decided by tenant democracy. And tenant democracy means you, your neighbours, Michael and Maria, and all the other residents of Solvangen and BSK. The good thing about tenant democracy is that it gives you the chance to have a say in how your housing estate and your housing association are run. You can decide on house rules. For instance, whether you can keep pets or not, make loud noises after 8 p.m, how your stair-rise are kept tidy, and whether you can have a barbecue in the yard or not. You also have influence on the maintenance budget. For instance, how often the stairs are washed and the yard swept, when the stair-rise should be painted, or how the yard should be planted. It all depends on your needs and wishes, and the cost of these services is included in the rent. A lot of people think affordable housing is funded by the state, but in fact it's funded mainly by the residents themselves through the rents and deposits that they pay. So it's only fair that the residents get to decide over their homes. Aha, thinks Michael, we'd better go to the general meeting. That way we get to meet the other residents and decide if we should have new kitchens, what kinds and what the kitchens should cost. There are also some people from KAB at the meeting. We talk about how to finance the kitchens. Do the residents want to pay up front or pay a little extra through the rent and save up gradually? We mention also that if the residents approve the proposal to renovate their kitchens, the decision needs to be confirmed by the Housing Association Board of BSK. A loan has to be arranged to finance the new kitchens. Then we'll set about getting quotations, drawing up a schedule and ensuring the project gets underway. Tenant democracy means that you as residents elect an estate board at the general meeting. You also elect people to represent you on the Housing Association's Board of Representatives. The Board of the Housing Association is elected at the meeting of the Board of Representatives. The Board of the Housing Association has overall responsibility for the housing estates. This can be in cases where major decisions need to be taken, for instance on commissioning a new housing estate, on taking out new mortgages, or on who will manage a housing estate, like Solvangen, for example. Some landlords make a profit from letting out their properties. Not KAB. KAB is non-profit. Our owners are in fact our residents, or more precisely, the housing associations administered by KAB. We manage 60 housing associations, each with a distinctive profile. We call this the KAB community. The KAB community comprises 300 housing estates and 50,000 homes. We have more than 100,000 residents and roughly another 150,000 people on waiting lists. This makes KAB Denmark's largest non-profit housing management company. We're a member of the National Association of Non-Profit Housing Associations in Denmark, an organisation that represents the interests of 500,000 homes in affordable housing in Denmark. About 1 Dane in 5 lives in not-for-profit housing. Our size allows us to offer a range of special competencies. For example, a legal department, a training department, and a department with technical know-how. We're therefore able to assist our customers, the housing associations, with almost all of their requirements. With the support of our professional services, you can focus on making decisions on your estate boards. Maria thinks it's exciting to be involved in the running of the housing estate. She's just a little concerned that it might demand a lot of her time and require expertise to be on the estate board. The person from KAB explains that the role of the estate board is to ensure that Solvangen is run in a rational and sensible way in the interests of all the residents. You make the decisions, he says, and we carry them out. Otherwise, none of you residents would have the time to be board members. Housing estates depend on the many residents who volunteer their time to do the work of the estate board and organise tenant activities on the estate. There's a long tradition for doing voluntary work in KAB, a tradition we're proud of. For that reason, we feel it is one of our most important tasks to support, stimulate and recognise voluntary work within tenant democracy. We believe that if the estate has a well-functioning tenant democracy, then we have a well-functioning estate. Should you wish to learn more about KAB and tenant democracy in the KAB community, then please visit our homepage at www.kab-bolig.dk. Welcome to the KAB community. Better homes for all.